This week on the Bowling Center, we'll talk to Dick Allen. We'll drill 2 different bowling balls to throw on opposite lanes, and we'll find out if the great PDW was better pre or post mustache.
Gets the strike.
Hello, bowling fans, and welcome to the Bowling Center. I am Jason Thomas, the bowling guy, and this is Jeff Goodger, the internet bowling personality.
Affirmative.
And on Sunday, we watched another exciting episode of bowling. It was the World Bowling Tour Finals on ESPN. Let's have a look at the highlights right now.
The blue oil is back, and so are the well-traveled superstars of the World Bowling Tour. The frequent flyer miles are huge, but this isn't about airline status. This is pure global domination in the sport of bowling. One question as we meet the players. Sean Rash is holding a baby, but the adults are wearing the booties. What's that about? We get started with the return of women's bowling to TV. A lot of people happy about that, none more than our first 2 competitors, 3rd seed and defending champion Missy Parkin and 2nd seeded Liz Johnson. And Columbia 300 ball rep Bugsy Kelly, who used Parkin's signature pink bowling attire as an excuse to put on his very pink pants. Parkin threw the first strike of the match in frame 2, and Johnson came right back with a strike of her own.
The open frame. Trips the 4.
There you go, back on it.
In the 3rd, Parkin's ball skated wide, but that just meant a chance to pick up a super washout on TV.
Covers the super washout.
Strikes were tough to find, and with this strike in the 8th, Parkin had a little extra legroom going into the final 2 frames.
Come on, carry. The pins agree.
A strike in the 9th for Johnson kept her in the game, and a spare in the 9th meant Parkin could win the match in the 10th with a double and 9. Keep in mind, no one had thrown a double to this point. Double? No. The dastardly 10 pins stood, giving Liz Johnson the chance to come up in the 10th and win it with 2 strikes and 3 pins. Will we finally see 2 consecutive strikes?
Left all the way.
No.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wow.
Missy Parkin, after a short layover, sits next to Kelly Kulik. Rhetorical question. Is Kulik the best ever? Parkin opened with an emphatic strike that just may have helped put Kulik in the mood for striking 2. One in the 1st, another in the 2nd, a double for Parkin, and this is bowling.
Double apiece. Game on.
Kulik in the 3rd lets the 7-10 stand for a slight delay before a gentle pat-down gives her an opening turkey.
And she's got her striking shoes on. 7-10 erased.
Just sheer beauty on this one.
Kulik in the 4th. 4 times. Big start for Kulik.
Front 4 for Kulik put her in the captain's chair, already at cruising altitude. 2 strikes later, here's Kulik in the 7th.
Kulik is perfect. 7 in a row.
And the 8th for the front 8 and the win.
And the streak is over.
Parkin strikes in the 8th to keep her mathematically in the match, but this would be Kulik's day, taking a victory lap in the 9th. As if Kelly Kulik needed another line on her resume, here she is, your 2013 World Bowling Tour Women's Champion. This isn't quite the dance of joy, but it is a dance of joy. We saw Mike Fagan last week at the PBA World Championship, and his first shot here in the WBT final suggests he'd like to win this time.
Perfect shot for the king of swing.
2nd seed Mika Koivuniemi matches Fagan with a strike, and the race to the title match is on.
And a strike apiece.
There is no turbulence in either of these arm swings. The 2 were close through 4 frames, and Fagan stepped up in the 5th to show us all how to drill a rack of pins.
Pretty.
The strike was a lead change in his favor, and this strike was another lead change right back to Mika.
And we've got a seesaw affair.
7th frame, the lead is Fagan's again. Time for Mika to take it back, right?
Oh no.
Bad break, but that's bowling. Which of his remaining 4 strikes should we show as we tell you Fagan advanced? How about this one in the 9th that virtually locked it up?
Cold-blooded.
279 is a good score. Almost perfect, in fact. But that gets wiped clean with 10 new frames to bowl, this time against top seed Sean Rash, who opts to throw first. Fagan orders a double to counter, and it looks like we're in for a shootout.
Right hit. Go boy. Mark it a strike.
We're almost out of loose-fitting air travel references, but if you're going to compare the power of a jet engine to anything in bowling, wouldn't it be this?
Yeah!
That's incredible power. Front five for Rash has Fagan in a hole halfway through. Looked grim when he left this.
And now Fagan has missed on the left lane.
But it goes down as a slash on the scoreboard.
And a nice conversion, pickup.
Rash attacks another rack for the front six and finally takes a sip of his complimentary beverage with a half dozen X's on the board. Fagan doubles with some fun carry.
Down goes double wood. The roll 8-2 in the corner pocket.
Then adds another in the 9th and another in the 10th, but it wouldn't be enough. Sean Rash, who was perfect through 7, fills the 10th with a strike to emerge as the 2013 World Bowling Tour Men's Champion, then happily hoists his child in victory.
Best trophy of all right there.
Mustaches and bowling are forever linked in pop culture, but how do they impact performance? Tonight, we investigate the career of the legendary Pete Weber. There is no doubt Peter David Weber is one of the greatest bowlers in the history of the sport. With 37 career PBA Tour victories and 10 major titles, Weber occupies a place in the pantheon of bowling legends. But an interesting thing happened back in 2009 when a freak grooming accident led to the kegling icon shaving his signature mustache.
The reason I shaved my mustache is I was in Japan for the Storm Fair that we do every year. And my interpreter, Keiko, who has been my interpreter just about every year that I've ever been there for Storm Fair, said something, and the next day, she said something about my mustache. And the next day, I was trimming it, and I kind of trimmed it a little too close, and kind of shaved a little bit of it off. So I just shaved the rest of it off.
Prior to shaving that season, Pete had only finished among the top 10 once in 8 tournaments. But after that fateful day with the razor, he went on a torrid hot streak, finishing in the top 10 in 5 of the remaining 7 tournaments, including his first win in 3 seasons in the Lumber Liquidators Marathon Open.
He is a bad man today.
After that win, Weber went on an unprecedented tear even for his lofty career, winning 2 more major titles among 3 individual victories, increasing his average tournament earnings by $1,000 per event, and putting himself in contention to win PBA Player of the Year honors for the first time in his illustrious career at the age of 51. Many of the sports experts are beginning to make the connection between Weber's bare upper lip and his overflowing trophy case.
I don't think I've ever seen him better. I think he's actually in a better frame of mind now without the mustache. So maybe that's the reason he's bowling better.
Well, it means less resistance for him going to the line. So he's able to, it accentuates that beautiful delivery, the beautiful, powerful delivery he has. So if he can get his head through the air, get into the line, the results will show for themselves.
That's something I would have never known. But, then maybe I cut the aerodynamics down a little bit.
But some skeptics doubt the influence the jettisoned follicles have actually had on Weber's turnaround in performance.
Dave Wadka, what effect do you think mustaches have on bowling performance?
Absolutely nothing.
What if I were to tell you that Pete Weber, arguably the greatest bowler of all time, if you take his stats on average, is actually a better bowler after he shaved his mustache?
I think you have too much time on your hands to find that out.
Probably the most balanced perspective comes from PBA Tour Commissioner Tom Clark, who must now weigh the costs of instituting mustache performance-enhancing restrictions into the sport.
Well, it's an interesting question because I think during the player's approach, you know, depending on the air and the air quality and what city you're in and what the weather is like outside and the air conditioning is inside, the speed of the player on the approach, whether it's a 3, 4, 5 or even more step delivery, can be impacted by any extra hair. So having a few hairs at the mustache level, you know, I think through history a lot of people have said, Walter Ray Williams has a mustache, maybe I should have a mustache. And I could see why they would do that. But then you think, well, Earl Anthony never had a mustache and he did well. So I think that it's worked both ways, and you can't say if I grow a mustache I'll be a better bowler, but at the same time you can't think that you'll be worse. So it's really a personal preference.
Whether you want to believe the reason for Pete Weber's recent run of outstanding bowling is most attributable to facial hair, genetics, or just dumb luck, there is no doubt something has caused his performance to spike at a time when most bowlers are hanging up their dexters to pursue other interests like playing bad golf or shouting at the contestants on The Price is Right. Could it all be a coincidence? Clearly more research, perhaps into other such pre- and post-mustached bowlers as Parker Bone III, Del Ballard Jr., and Mike Durbin, needs to be done. But this is for sure. Not only is Pete Weber doing some of the best bowling of his life, he's also decreased the likelihood of being mistaken for an 80s-era adult film star, or a policeman, or that really annoying uncle who always shows up to your family gatherings wearing the tight jean shorts. For Foul Line TBC, this is Jeff Goodger.
Jeff Goodger. Next up on the Bowling Center, we had a conversation that you will not want to miss. It is one of the most colorful characters on the PBA Tour, Dick Allen.
Having beers with Mike J.
Having beers with bowlers. Dick Allen, thanks for stopping by.
Yes, sir.
Every time I see you, you've got a new look.
Is that so?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, this time I'm seeing a little Fu Manchu and a little different facial hair. You just love to mix it up, don't you?
I just get lazy. That's all it is. Just lazy.
Is the headband coming back? I've seen photos here and there. Is that just a tease?
For the pro-ams. For the pro-ams. Nothing big, you know. We've got the basketball theme this year for the jerseys. So, pro-ams, yeah, we'll bring headband back.
Well, first I got to ask about your wife and your daughter Piper.
Mm-hmm.
How's the family?
They're good. They're excited. New arrival in sometime between the 1st and the 7th.
So we had talked about a potential blockbuster online contest. Are you still up for that?
No, we named it. Yeah, too late. Too late. Sorry about that. We named it.
What is the, I don't know if it's bad luck to reveal the name or?
It's 99% confirmed, so I can't really go out there yet, so.
Well, we will not break any news.
Yeah.
We will not break any news.
But let's just say MAA.
Tell me about growing up and being involved with the bowling business from a young age.
It's been fun. Growing up in bowling centers throughout the country. Illinois, Texas, Louisiana, Colorado. I know I'm leaving places out, but it's just met a lot of people. There's a lot of people that I know that a lot of people think I wouldn't know, or that I'm friends with that I've known for a long time. So I think that's pretty neat. Other than that, I mean, it's just bowling, man. It's just bowling.
What would you say your core beliefs are?
My core beliefs, you know, I'm a pretty conservative guy, to be honest with you. So I don't know if I'm full-blown Tea Party or anything like that. I'm not a neo-Confederate, if you want to keep going there. But you know, I mean, there's I'm conservative. I mean, I'm a Republican. You know, I believe guns are good. You know, I'm not one of those people, hey, you can do it as long as you don't tax me for it. You know, I'm not quite libertarian, so I mean, it's there's a lot of aspects out there that kind of drive me insane and kind of worry me, especially when things come on TV and I kind of take notice and my friends are like, oh my God, it's so boring. And it's just like, you know, guys, come on, this is your country, man. It's your country.
In your view, is it a common sense thing, or what do you see?
I really think it's a common sense thing, and you know, it's I don't know how far this interview is supposed to go, but you know, I mean, I think.
Hey, we're having beers with bowlers.
That's true. That's true. There are aspects. You know, I think there are aspects of the political agenda out there from you know a few sides, a few parties that I think are not so good for our country.
Hey, Dick Allen, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Mike J. Laneside having beers with bowlers. He's done.
Always fun to talk to Dick Allen. He's one of the most colorful characters on the PBA Tour and a heck of a bowler himself.
Speaking of excellent bowlers, me, Jason, me. And I think since I've defeated you 6 weeks in a row and am utterly humiliating you every week, I should give you a sporting chance. And I figured a little more complication to the game would help you and hurt me. So what would you say to bowling with 2 different bowling balls this week?
I think that would give me a chance. I mean, I've been knocking on the door, bowling pretty well, and I do think this might be my best chance. We're going to throw the Mean Streak Beatdown on one lane and the IQ Tour on the other lane in this edition of The Drilling Room. Well, Jeff, we're back in the man cave, and we've got a totally new challenge this week, a different bowling ball on each lane.
Yes, we have the IQ Tour Solid from Storm and the Mean Streak Beatdown from Brunswick.
Thank you to Mike Flanagan and Chuck Gardner for sending us the brains and the brawn. And first, we're going to head over to the ball spinner to make some surface changes just for my bowling balls.
I was going to say, I don't want any changes on mine.
We're going to just leave his.
Counting flowers on the wall, that don't bother me at all. Playing solitaire till dawn with the deck of 51. Smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. Now don't tell me I've nothing to do. Last night I dressed in tails, pretended I was on the tank.
All right, so these are the IQ Tour editions that we're drilling up this week. This is Jeff Goodger's here on the left. You'll notice it's a little bit of a duller surface. This is the out-of-the-box surface. Mine has some 4000 on it, so it has a little bit of shine. Not polished, but just 4000. So that's the main difference. The layouts are fairly similar. Pin-ups, CG's kicked out. We're going to have medium holes. And they should complement the Mean Streak Beatdowns quite well that we have from Brunswick. All right, this is the Mean Streak Beatdown. We have Jeff Goodger's here on the left. Again, a little bit more surface. And you'll notice the thing on these balls, the pin distance is a little further from the CG than it is over here on my bowling ball. Mine has a little bit less surface. It's got 4000 and Jeff's is the original out of the box. But the main difference in the layouts is this pin distance. This pin distance gives Jeff a little bit more CG kick out, and that's going to give the ball a little bit more flare potential, and the extra surface should allow it to pick up earlier for his lower rev rate.
Six and one, bowling fans. I'm calling it 2 frames in. I'm 6 and 1.
Very disappointing performance by me there, Jeff, and I thought the 2 balls would help, but it ended up working against me.
Well, once again, failing to give credit to the guy who beat you scratch, me. And I'm feeling so good, Jason, that I want to go bowling again. Troll bowling. This is one of my favorites, just because of how much I appreciate the absurdity of the human condition. And it's this guy who will pop up every now and then. It's not every time, but it's always unrelated to whatever's going on the PBA Facebook page. Could be a post to results or a TV show recap or anything on the Facebook page. And this guy will show up and say, get rid of the exempt tour. The exempt tour is killing bowling. Good idea, guy. Well, did that a year ago and you didn't even know about it. So quite the savior getting rid of the exempt tour was to bowling. Made you pay attention. Maybe a better idea would be for the bowling fans to pay enough attention to what's going on that they know the exempt tour has not been around for the past year. And by the way, I expect that after a couple years of non-exempt tour, this same guy is going to be whining about bringing back the exempt tour. And maybe I shouldn't estimate or predict, but I'm pretty safe in that guess. So here's my saying to you, is quit whining about what's not going on, because it is going on. And pay attention and support what you do have. And be thankful, even though it's not Thanksgiving. It's still time. It's still life. We're still humans. Just calm down.
The guru Jeff Goodger, otherwise known as the internet bowling personality, says calm down. Very sage advice, I believe.
It only makes sense. It'll make your lives better, make your lives easier, make everyone happier. It'll make the bowling center a better show.
And speaking of calming down, we'll be skipping next week's episode, but we will have an ESPN telecast. It'll be the Japan Cup, and it's a great show, so be sure to tune in for that. And then we'll be back to recap the final World Series of Bowling event. It's the PBA 50 finals combined with the RPI finals.
Yeah, it'll be a nice event to see some of the bowlers we don't often get to see on TV, and it'll close out this year's World Series and get us ready for next season.
Plus, you get to see Pete Weber, Walter Ray, and Amleto on a show, which will be kind of a throwback to the 90s, although Pete Weber seems to make every show now as well.
That's true.
That's true. So, anyway, thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jason Thomas, the bowling guy. This is Jeff Guru, internet bowling personality Goodger, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.